Well, officially, welcome to our PAM annual meeting. We have so much to be grateful for, and we are so happy that you are here with us today to find out more about what PAM is accomplishing and how PAM can make a difference in your life and in the life of your congregation. This annual meeting used to take place at the Worship and Music Conference, and now we do it online, which increases the accessibility to all. Our meeting also fulfills a requirement in our bylaws that helps us serve the purpose of holding us accountable and to help report on new initiatives and also our financial health. So a couple of things to keep us in good working order. Stay muted. We'll ask you to stay that way for the duration of the meeting, unless you have a speaking part, then be sure to unmute yourself. And questions that you have should be placed in the chat only. And now, we'll get started. Next slide. I'm Emily Floyd, the president of PAM, and our visioning update is that we visioned together as a group at Pittsburgh Seminary a few years ago in 2023, and the goals that are listed here on the screen are the visioning goals that we are making really good progress in. The first is investing and equipping next generation leadership. You'll notice that in our committees, that we have young leaders in our committees and new leaders in our committees. Planning events, we have young new people there too. And even an upcoming conference has included people in their 20s on the planning team. So that is helping us to fulfill that goal. If you've attended the Worship and Music Conference, you will have noticed expansive worship. We're committed to organ-led hymns, but we're also committed to a variety of hymn experiences that are led by guitar, piano, world percussion. And so our idea of worship and our understanding of worship is ever deepening. You'll see that goal addressed that way. To address the goal of supporting membership and the success across the country, you'll notice that we have created regions which have their own budgets, they have their own leadership teams, and they create and execute their own events. They're all supported by a new staff member in the national office, and her name is Charlotte Downs. Part of her job description is to be sure that each region is supported in their leadership and in their events. So look for region events. And our fourth goal is being addressed by the formation of a round table group for diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. You may have seen in our newsletter that we have a new golf cart initiative that will be helping inclusivity so that people who have mobility issues can be included and have access. That's one way that we are addressing DEIB. And in the future, you will see a survey that's coming out to help us address this area of our vision. All right, next slide. Here's Josh Taylor, our nominating committee chair and president-elect. Josh, you're muted. I think Kelly will have to unmute him.
There we go. It's my pleasure and privilege to tell you all about the new folks that are coming on to serve you on our board. First of all, we have Jonathan Hain. Jonathan currently is on the faculty at the University of Notre Dame, where he serves as the, I'm getting to my notes. He's a musician and liturgist, currently serving at the University of Notre Dame as on their sacred music faculty, has a long, rich history with the Montreat Worship and Music Conference. He's also a brother in the Order of St. Luke, a religious order which is committed to liturgical scholarship and practice, and he holds degrees in music from Florida State University and from the University of Notre Dame. And then our other at-large person coming on the board is Beth Judd. And Beth is nationally recognized as a leader in the field of handbells, having served for the past 40 years as a conductor and clinician for seminars and workshops and festivals around the country, including at our very own Worship and Music Conference at Montreat. And then no stranger to any of us, hopefully, is David Gambrell, who works as an associate in the former Office of Theology and Worship for the denomination that's being restructured. And David is now coming onto the PAM board as an ex officio. And we're so glad to continue to partner with David and to have all of the unique gifts, wonderful gifts that he brings to our organization on the board. Additionally, we have our nominating committee folks. We're trying to get into a better rhythm with our nominating committee with folks serving for terms. And that way we have some continuity between our nominating committee members. And so very excited that the Reverend Bill Davis and G.E. Chen Woolbrink will be returning to our nominating committee. And then Jennifer Jones, who is the director of music at Trinity Presbyterian Church in McKinney, will also be joining our nominating committee next year. So thanks for voting, and thanks to these folks for being willing to serve on our board and on our nominating committee in the years to come.
There we go. And next slide. Now it's my joy to give you a summation of our 2024 annual report. These stats that are in front of you are pretty incredible. You can see how many members we have served, which is a very healthy number, how many churches we have served, and the Worship and Music Conference attendees. We are back to record numbers for adults attending. The numbers that need to come back up and bounce up from COVID times would be in the children and youth area. And as we know, children and youth music programs in churches are all in the rebuild phase still from COVID. So really good showing about our attendance numbers from Worship and Music Conference. Keep working on your children and your youth. You'll see that we have had 9 region events, which serves over 200 members. Folks, we really want you to get involved in your region events. For some of you, that may be a little bit of a drive, but it may be a shorter drive than it would be to get to the Worship and Music Conference. So take a look at what's advertised in your region that you could take advantage of. Another thing that we are so incredibly grateful for is the number of donors and the number of the money raised. We have 55 PAM sustainers, people that every month give to PAM so that we can feel sustained. That is an ongoing donation. So consider if you might be a sustainer. The scholarships awarded continues to increase. You'll hear a new initiative about that, some new scholarships that have been created. We want accessibility for all. So keep donating toward those scholarships. And we have 18 worship leaders who have joined the First Call community. First Call is for new pastors that are in their first call or for church musicians in their first call. Mark Kemp will talk about that soon. And that's a relatively new initiative, and we can't be more grateful for those 18 worship leaders who've joined that community to have real support. And every year that will turn over as each new call takes place. We'll have a new group next year and a new group after that. And finally, that we have certified 62 active church musicians. That is incredible. So lots to be thankful for in our annual report. Next slide. And now I'll turn it over to Brent Ivy, who's our treasurer.
Hello, everyone. We're so glad that you're here. And I could not be more honored to present the 2024 financials to you. So on your screen now is our statement of activities. And just as we have, you look at that first column there at the bottom, just as we have for the past 6 years, we've ended the year in the black. We're much closer to our budgeted surplus than we were in the past few years, but that's a good thing. It means that we are a vibrant organization and we're living fully into our plan. If you look at our operating actuals there, and Kelly's done a wonderful job of aggregating this activity into various categories. So not your typical P&L. And I think it is a beautiful way for you to be able to see the different workings and initiatives of our organization. You'll see that conference revenues were up over the previous year by about 20K. Annual fund conferences up by 10K. And just for a reference, in 2017, our annual fund goal was $14,000. And in 2025, our annual fund goal is $95,000. If that's not something to celebrate, I don't know what is. Very appropriately, our employee health and welfare expenses are up by about 100K. Shared services expenses and national office expenses are each both up about 10K. And all of these changes are indicative of an organization that's growing both its income and its expenses, and it's doing so with great intentionality and with great integrity. And I do want to say here that Kelly and the staff are working very hard to grow the infrastructure of our flourishing organization. And while we're certainly doing better, we are still very reliant on and very grateful for national office staff that goes far above and beyond to ensure that PAM is not only functioning, but that it's thriving. Could we hop to the next slide? That's our statement of activities. And our next slide is our statement of financial position, or our balance sheet. If you'll look down here and you'll see the invested funds line, the second line down, through the generosity of many individuals and churches, this line has grown considerably over the past few years. In 2024, these funds fully supported, I believe, Kelly can correct me, but I believe we are now fully supporting 6 faculty positions at the Worship and Music Conference. We provided, as Emily mentioned, scholarships to PAM events, and we're also supporting initiatives such as the First Call community. Kelly and I were looking at some of the organizations, the churches specifically, that are supporting us, and First Pres of Dunedin. If we look back over the lifetime, they've given us over $65,000. First Shreveport, $33,000. Westminster Pres in Greenville, $25,000. These amazingly generous congregations have committed to PAM and are allowing us to support this amazing work in new ways. So these endowed funds, along with new revenue streams like the sponsorships and advertising revenue, allow us to keep your membership fees and conference registration fees at an amazingly low rate. In fact, they are not even growing at a rate equal to inflation. So through these initiatives, we're able to keep all of our costs just a little bit lower. And also, one very exciting thing, I want to call your attention to the long-term liabilities line, that $1.2 million. And this represents our proceeds from our Child of Blessing grant from the Lilly Foundation. And we could not be more excited. And you're going to hear more about that from Melissa here in just a minute. But I want to thank Sandra McDonald and everyone who worked to bring this to a reality. It is a hugely exciting time for us. Kelly and the staff have worked hard to ensure that PAM is flourishing and growing, and our numbers clearly reflect that we are building each year on a very solid foundation. As we ensure that our revenue is stable, we're able to increase our expenses to grow our infrastructure just a little to support all the good work. So Kelly and national staff, we can't thank you enough for all that you are doing to ensure PAM's present and exciting future. Thank you.
Thank you, Brent. That is exciting. Next slide. Here is Kelly Abraham, our Executive Director, to give her report.
Thanks, Emily. Thank you, Brent. As you know, it takes a team and it takes a village, and We're part of a great village. I'm here to tell you a little bit more about some of the things that we do in the office. At the end of the day, we are here to serve you. So a couple things to highlight. We're expanding membership resources. The call to worship, we are working on expanding the reach for call to worship. Again, you saw earlier, we're expanding our region offerings. Charlotte Downs is going to be working with our regions along with your board member, Brian Tanaka, who you'll hear from shortly about region offerings. We're expanding the First Call community offerings, the Child of Blessing grant, and we have interest sessions that were introduced last year for worship and music. This year, we are exploring a new way to distribute and expand resources in a current and relevant platform, and that is all I can tell you now. Stay tuned. In terms of membership involvement, we are continuing to expand membership involvement through our committees, through our regions, through planning teams. We're excited. We've got a great membership, and we're grateful for all of you who are stepping in and leading this amazing organization. In terms of geographic reach, we're now getting to reach further across the country and in the corners to offer these region events in person and online. I will note that both of them have been fruitful and reaching members and churches to provide the resources we need. In terms of financial stability, you heard it from Brent, 16 years in a row of a net surplus. We have almost fully replenished, which were depleted, a depleted reserve fund. We're now able to employ the staff needed to support these expanded offerings, which slow, and we're still slowing your increases, as Brent said, to conference and membership fees. And we gave over $37,000 in scholarship funds in 24. In terms of sources of funding, you heard that from Brent as well. We've got some new scholarship funds we're going to tell you about later today, and the Lilly Grant, and we are on the fortunate end of some wonderful restricted gifts that are supporting the Worship and Music Conference, and that really helps those operating expenses as well. Lastly, expanded collaboration and partnerships. We have been the fortunate partnership, PAM has, with the Stewardship Kaleidoscope Conference. If you're familiar with that, that is hosted by several foundations. One is Presbyterian Foundation, the second is the Texas Presbyterian Foundation, and that's a conference held annually across the country to help churches, trustees plan financial stewardship in their churches. Pam has been asked, this is the 4th year in a row, to direct those worship services, and it's been a wonderful partnership, and we are grateful to be able to really share the joy of this membership. It's not led by the office, it's led by leaders in this organization. So it's been fun to be a part of that. Now, I'll turn it over to Brian Tanaka. He's going to tell you about our region offerings.
Thank you. Good afternoon, friends. My name is Brian Tanaka, and I am the board representative for the Connecting Committee. It is my privilege to bring you an update on behalf of our regions. As we reflect on the past year, one thing is abundantly clear. 2024 has been a year of deep connection, vibrant collaboration, and faithful service across our PAM regions. First, let's give a heartfelt round of applause to our PAM regions for their incredible work this past year. From coast to coast, the creativity, energy, and commitment of our members have brought life to communities and congregations. And at the heart of it all has been the unwavering support of the PAM office. Whether it was building an event from the ground up, like the Rocky Mountain regions, cultivating community, or providing key administrative help to events hosted by churches and partner organizations like the Mid-South Festival of Choirs, North Central's Iowa City Handbell Festival, or the South Atlantic and Puerto Rico regions Annual Association of Smaller Congregations Conference, the PAM office has shown flexibility, vision, and grace under pressure. Their branding, marketing, and resource development have lifted local initiatives such as South Central's Singing Our Hope and Great Lakes series of online webinars. For all of this and more, we are deeply grateful. One area of real growth this year has been the Connecting Committee space. In 2024, we've worked intentionally to make that space more dynamic and engaging. Just as an example, a highlight came during our October meeting when Landry Duval and others shared insights from the Mid-South Festival of Choirs. Landry's reflection reminded us that what makes our events so powerful isn't just the music, it's the fellowship, the mutual engagement, and the sacred moments, such as at their Friday night service, where musicians felt their calling reaffirmed. Looking ahead through 2025, of course, we're excited to welcome more voices into our work, especially that of PAM's Marketing and Region Events Coordinator, Charlotte Downs, who is already operating at full force. With Charlotte's fresh perspective and faithful spirit, we look forward to new conversations and new energy. We are actively searching for ways to continue to improve how our regions interface with our membership and beyond, and how they interface with each other. The PAM office is already planning deeper engagement with our connecting committee and regional leaders to better understand your needs and to help dream boldly for the year ahead. PAM is far bigger than just an annual conference. So thank you, all of you, for your leadership, your passion, and your dedication to do better, to better the Presbyterian Association of Musicians. May God continue to bless the work we do together. Thank you.
Amen. And if you have an idea about our region offering that you would like to get involved in, reach out to your region leaders so that we could see what fruit might bear from your idea. All right, next slide. I'd like to introduce Elizabeth Dybert, our conference chair for the 25 conference Clothed in Love. Elizabeth. We'll unmute Elizabeth.
Hi, everybody. This year's PAM conference in Montreat theme is Clothed in Love from the Colossians 3 passage. It encourages us to put on compassion, kindness, humility, meekness, and patience. Each day we will focus on a single word using a different biblical narrative each day, music, liturgy, art, and sacraments to help us explore and experience worship with all of our senses. This theme scripture reminds us to forgive and to harmonize and to sing psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs to God with gratitude in our hearts. And that's what we aim to do all week, and why this conference means so much to all of us, because of the joy of being woven together by Christ into a perfect harmony of love. Well, maybe sometimes imperfect, but we'll be glad to be together. Sunday night's worship will give everyone a chance to connect with all the worship leaders in a kind of lessons and carols and candlelight format, as each leader gives witness to how one of the 5 words plays out in their lives of faith. Our DIY evening prayer services will feature our worship leaders reading bedtime stories to help us further connect with the word of the day at the end of the day. Our Monday night family-oriented concert will feature both our organist Tom Trini and our guitarist David Lamott, our service musicians, in concert to surely inspire all ages. Daily worship will open with children and middlers leading liturgy, and will close with a senior high leading liturgy alongside our wonderful preacher, Dr. Margaret Amer, and an excellent liturgist, David Gambrell, who is holding it all together. We have a commissioned anthem by Michael Burkhart to be sung by all the choirs together at the end of the week. And intergenerational drumming and dancing will bring joy to all of us. Signing up for interest sessions will never require you to miss another class. And in the first 2 days of the week, there are small group gathering opportunities of special interest groups like first timers, young adults, small church leaders, BIPOC, and LGBTQIA+. Continuing with the theme of Clothed in Love, we have been collecting a special offering to donate sewing machines through the PCUSA's Alternative Giving Program. So there will be rainbow colored links of love on display representing every dollar given. So far, we have received nearly $1,700 in that special offering. We have 1,252 people registered, and the price is going up, folks. So if you have any friends you haven't invited, especially children and youth, please get on it right away. We're excited to have you in Montreat with us. We're excited about those golf carts, making it easier for folks who request them to get from one class to another. And you'll be happy to know that Montreat's recovery process has been nothing less than amazing. They are indeed ready for us, with some areas of Montreat not just repaired, but improved. And I've heard recently that there's still some conference housing available. I hope that's still true. My co-director, Amy Cernelia, and the planning team and I look forward to being with you in Montreat. And thanks as always to Lisa Myers for all of her good work in helping us plan these wonderful events.
Amen and amen. We cannot wait. And I see you see that little golf cart there at the bottom. What a wonderful new thing. And we just can't wait to be together. Thank you, Elizabeth, for all of your work, the planning team's work, Amy's work. We're excited. Next slide. All right, and now it's my honor to introduce to you Kirsten Foyles, who is a member of the board and in fact is our representative for the 26th conference planning team. Take it away, Kirsten.
Okay, thank you. We are so excited about the 2026 conference. But as you all know, there's a lot of things I can't tell you yet. So while Elizabeth gave you all of the cool, exciting stuff for this summer, you're gonna have to wait a little bit longer for 2026. What I can tell you today is that we have an incredible experienced leadership team in our co-directors, which is Dave Vandermeer and Melissa McNair King. We have a conference planning team and worship leadership team who are working around a theme that is relevant to the times that we're living in. The teams are both compassionate and creative and looking to honor both the well-loved traditions and expectations of worship and music conference while infusing creative and fun new touches to just enliven it. And we have a great balance of new voices along with trusted veterans of the conference. And for any more than that, you're just gonna have to come to our closing concert this summer where we can't wait to share more with you.
Wonderful. All right, and I see a question came in. We'll answer that soon. And now next slide, which is about a revitalization grant. Will you just show me a thumbs up if you can see the slides? Okay, most people can see the slides. I just got one message that they can't see the slides. All right. Carl Zinsmeister is our membership chair and is going to give you this exciting news. Take it away, Carl.
Thank you, Emily. PAM announced in the fall of 2024 that it would award a grant to a church starting or revitalizing a music program. The grant was designed to support fledgling choir programs or established music ministries fostering a new program element by offering resources and professional support. The grant award includes a 50% discount for one person toward a 2025 PAM region event or worship and music conference registration, $1,000 to support ministry needs, and quarterly program consultations with PAM colleagues to help recipients maximize their PAM membership, discuss program challenges, and celebrate, build upon progress, successes. Our grant review panel included PAM members Kelly Cuppett, Steve Fay, and myself, as well as Executive Director Kelly Abraham and co-owner and project manager for St. James Music Press, Amy Simons. PAM received 27 grant applications by the advertised cutoff date of December 31st, 2024. There were so many worthwhile requests made that the PAM board approved awarding not 1, but 3 grants this year. The recipients for the 2025 revitalization grants are, as you can see on the screen, First Presbyterian Church of Silva, North Carolina, Courtney Umflett, Director of Music, to build a church instrumental program. Spanish Fort Presbyterian Church, Spanish Fort, Alabama, Anna Duke, pastor, to revitalize the church's children's choir. First Presbyterian Church of Thomaston, Georgia, Glenn Gilstrip, pastor, to build a youth choral ensemble. Congratulations to these grant recipients. Watch for reports of their grant work and ministry update sometime in late 2025. Applications for the 2026 revitalization grant will be announced in mid-October this fall. Thank you.
Thank you, Carl, and heartfelt thank you to your committee for all the work that went into that. Appreciate it so much. Okay, next slide. Mark Kemp is the leader of our First Call community. Welcome, Mark Kemp, and past president.
Thank you, Emily. It's nice to be here. I just want to give everyone an update on what the FCC has been up to. It's very exciting, all the things that are going on. The 18 members that you saw in the early numbers were the 18 people who came to our face-to-face gatherings, both this was 2024, so that spring at Columbia Seminary, and then at the conference FCC gathering in the House. And that was the funding that we came up with for those folks through scholarships and individual funding. So that number can grow as we grow our funding. And I'm glad to say there's a over $50,000 fund, FCC fund right now that the board holds that will be able to support these efforts into the future. And there's also some individual and community funding coming in that will help us take care of the faculty and expenses of having these events each year, both at the conference and at our annual gatherings, you might say, together. So we don't have to draw money from that fund yet. So it's growing and continuing to take contributions, and that's very exciting. Over the past 4 or 5 years, this is a 5-year-old initiative now. There are over 200 members of the FCC that have accumulated from year to year that come from newly ordained pastors, as well as musicians that are new in leading Reformed worship in the PCUSA, from other traditions, or just new out of grad school. I'm also glad to say that the community has welcomed, and our committee has welcomed, Zach Light-Wells from First Pres in Dallas to help us specifically reach out to and support new musicians. We have an easy time tracking down new pastors from the ordination list that we get from the nice people in Louisville, but it's harder to find these musicians as they begin. So Zach, we're steering the boat a little in a different direction, and Zach is heading that effort. So we look forward to being able to welcome even more musicians in the conversation. Our meeting in March of this year had the same number of pastors as new musicians when we met together at Union Seminary in Richmond. So that's very encouraging, and we're getting great response out of that. So I'm really grateful for all of that work. Every month, the second Wednesday of every month, the community gathers online for what we call hallway conversations. And we always begin with a topic of, if it matches the liturgical year, if it matches what's happening in the world, a particular music or pastoral concerns. But the conversation always seems to turn to personal engagement and things that people are bringing out of their own experience. And we never strive to answer questions or give solutions. We strive to share our own experiences together and maybe lean on one another in different ways rather than trying to solve one another's problems. So it's a wonderful community to be a part of. It's a wonderful place to share our experiences, and I'm grateful for the folks that work together to make that available, and thankful for all the support from the board.
Thank you, Mark, for your vision, your tenacity, and for your passion to care for those who are new to this calling. What a gift they are receiving. Okay, next slide. And we'll turn it over to Melissa McNair King, who is our program manager for the Child of Blessing initiative, which is funded by the Lilly Foundation. Melissa.
Hi, my name's Melissa McNair King, and I started serving this January as the program manager for Child of Blessing, Growing Faith and Worship. Child of Blessing has 5 years of funding from a generous Lilly Endowment grant. There is an 11-person team who helped guide the grant writing process and who now serve in an advisory capacity for the program. So I do want to say a word of thanks to them, and especially to Sandra McDonald, PAM's grant specialist, for all of their dedication and vision that brought this program into being. The purpose of Child of Blessing is to help congregations more fully integrate children into the life of worship. So some of the concrete goals for Child of Blessing are to create field-tested, lectionary-based resources for every Sunday of the year that support multi-generational worship. And if you have been in a focus group or a small group around this program, then you've probably already heard me say that this is not a weekly idea for your children's sermon, that we're really trying to look holistically at the entire worship service being a place where people of every age can worship and experience God's wonder together. We do hope to offer some workshops at existing PAM conferences. If you are planning a regional event and you'd like to collaborate, I would love to talk with you about that. There's also a standalone conference written into the grant for year 4, which is 2028. And at the heart of this program, there's a commitment to listening well to those of you who are leading worship faithfully every week with real people in the real world. We want to make sure that what we are doing makes sense and serves the church well. So to that end, we will start field testing worship materials with Advent 1 this coming November. Our resource director is Sally Ann McKenzie, who is also the editor for Call to Worship. She is recruiting contributors who will be writing liturgy, offering musical suggestions, and creating gesture-based responses that can be used during worship. And instead of offering a full year's worth of resources at a time, we have divided year A into 5 different sections, each of them between 10 and 12 weeks. And that helps us to stay kind of nimble, respond to the feedback from congregations, and it also gives us the chance to engage with a broader range of contributors. So if your congregation would like to be involved, it is certainly not too late. If you think your church might be interested in field testing, I'd be happy to talk with you. My email address and phone number are on the PAM website. And again, a word of thanks to the board and to the advisory team for this program and to the PAM organization for a longstanding commitment to investing in children and youth.
Thank you, Melissa. This is really important territory for us to include all of God's children. Wonderful. Okay, next slide. Kelly Abraham, take it away. New scholarships.
New scholarships. This is some fun stuff. You're hearing a lot of fun stuff today. We want to let you know that there are 3 new scholarship funds that have been established through the generosity of PAM members. The first one is the Reverend Dr. J. Scott Miller Scholarship Fund. It is providing, beginning in 26, it will be providing a conference registration, lodging, and meal scholarship for a pastor serving in a smaller church. This fund honors Reverend Dr. J. Scott Miller. He was the pastor of Dayton Presbyterian Church in Berkeley, Michigan until he retired. He was there for 22 years. So the church, and believe it or not, the church subsequently closed. So this was one of the gifts that they gave in honor of Scott, a past president of PAM, and a closing gift for his service. So we are super appreciative of this gift. The second one was a gift to the Jane Austen Cunningham and E.P. Cunningham II Scholarship Fund. This is a gift given by Camille Boone. If you know Camille Boone, you know she is a week 1 attendee at the Worship and Music Conference, and she stays at the Assembly Inn and brings her sweet granddaughter, Lida, every year. And Camille wanted to give a gift in honor of her music teachers. And this gift will go to a scholarship for somebody in a small church. And this will be a registration scholarship. And this will start in 26 as well. The third scholarship fund that was established toward the end of last year is called the Discover PAM Scholarship Fund. And you can see that fun picture on the right side because it's a fun group of people. This is a group of folks who attend worship and music during week 2, and they've been attending for years. And something special about this group is they've met each other coming to this conference. They've come by themselves or maybe with one other person. And this group, if you know them during week 2, is sort of the welcome wagon. And if they see you and you're by yourself, you are often welcome to their home for dinner. And you will likely have a room in their house in the next year. And this is something they talked about for years of what can they do to give back to PAM for the community that they have received because of the Worship and Music Conference. And for them, it was establishing this scholarship fund to welcome other new people into the fold. So they're really excited. We're really excited. And we believe this fund will be fully funded by the end of this year. To that end, I want to talk to you about next slide. What does that mean? We don't, nothing happens in a bubble, as Brent says. And none of this happens alone. And as you've heard throughout this conversation today, it is because of the generosity of you, of others who are on the call today, of churches, of organizations, that PAM is able to do what we're able to do. And so I just want to let you know a little bit about what we're doing this year. And why we're raising money. Again, you heard that our annual fund goal is $95,000. We're hoping to raise about $17,000 for the scholarship fund. We're hoping to raise an additional $25,000 to put into that first call community fund. Sandra McDonald, our amazing grant specialist, will continue to write grants for us, and in the hopes that we will reach this year's targeted goal. Advertising and sponsorships, I mentioned to you, this is something that started in about 2018. You know, as an organization and as somebody who, you know, even in your own homes, you can cut costs as much as you want and you can try, but at the end of the day, you also have to find revenue sources. And so that's something PAM has really worked on these last 7 years. And we've been able to find that through grants, through restricted gifts, through giving, but the advertising and sponsorships as well. We will have 14 exhibitors. I take that back because there's going to be 3 in classrooms, 17 exhibitors this year at the Worship and Music Conference. And we've worked really hard this year to find organizations and businesses that we think appeal to our attendees. We realize that a lot of you, this might be the only conference you get to this year. So we want to make sure that all the resources you need to lead worship are available to you. And so these organizations have paid in sponsorships to attend the conference, to talk to you. And so that is one thing that has really worked well for PAM, and we hope that you have found it beneficial as well. Finally, major gifts. This is a gift that we work with donors, with organizations, with churches to create a major gift. And some of those scholarships are major gifts, and I've just told you about. So our goal for this year is $65,000. You heard about the Sustainer campaign, monthly givers. Just like at your church, monthly giving is incredibly important to PAM as we plan our budget and how we can operate and expend the funds that we need to bring you the resources. The new society we've established this year is the Legacy Giving Society. If you are interested in making a planned gift to PAM, there's a spot on our website that allows you to make that commitment, and you can become part of the Legacy Giving Society. At the end of the day, we want to support you. We've seen an 11% increase in our membership since 2011. We will continue to award scholarships. We received this wonderful Lilly grant. But at the end of the day, our job is to support you. PAM is the only 501c3 in the PCUSA in place to support all worship leaders. And we hope that the support from our membership and beyond will continue so that we can do the work that we do to make sure you are able to lead purposeful, collaborative, and intentional worship services. So you can find more about donating to PAM at presbymusic.org/donate. Turning it back over to you, Emily.
Thank you, Kelly. All right, next slide. So if you have a question, please place that in the chat. We received one question about when the intercession application would open, and it opens on May 1st, which is very soon. And the deadline for submitting that application is July 15. So we'll take a last second to field any questions that come in through the chat. Don't go away yet because we have one exciting announcement. Okay, not seeing any further questions, then drum roll, please. Let's turn it over, next slide, to Carl Zinsmeister, honorary lifetime memberships. We'll make sure we unmute Carl.
Thank you. Each year, PAM members are invited to nominate individuals for this award of distinction. Honorary lifetime members are persons who, in the judgment of the board, have given distinguished service in promoting and living out the purposes and objectives of PAM's mission, that formative and collaborative experiences with God and neighbor nurture relationships and create community. Honorary lifetime members receive all the benefits and privileges of PAM membership, including call to worship, access to the PAM website members only page, and voting privileges. It is my honor to announce that the board has confirmed 2 individuals this year to receive the Honorary Lifetime Membership Award. Our first recipient is a graduate of St. Andrews Presbyterian College, Laurinburg, North Carolina, and the University of Oregon with degrees in church music and choral conducting. She studied choral conducting with Helmut Rehling in Stuttgart and Frankfurt, Germany, as a Fulbright Scholar 1971 to 1972. She is a co-founder and board member of the Piedmont Chamber Singers of Winston-Salem. She served as a member of the planning team for the 2002 PAM conferences on worship and music at Montreat, and was a member of the National Board of the Presbyterian Association of Musicians from 2000 to 2003. She has led workshops on music for the small church, choral methods, and repertoire for the church choir, singing the psalms, and using the music and prayers of the Taizé community in the local church. Her published articles include Putting the Psalter to Work, Singing the Psalms, Music for the Sacraments of Communion and Baptism, and Psalm Listings for the Revised Common Lectionary in Reformed Liturgy and Music, a publication of PAM that preceded Call to Worship. She was the Director of Education and Special Programs at the Museum of Early Southern Decorative Arts in Old Salem until her recent retirement. She was organist at First Presbyterian Church, Charlotte, from 1969 to 72, where she assisted Director of Music Henry Bridges in founding the church's after-school program for children with limited financial resources, a program that eventually grew to become Charlotte's Community School of the Arts. She also served as Director of Music at First Presbyterian Church in Waterloo, Iowa from 1973 to 75. She has held the position of Director of Music at Shallowford Presbyterian Church since its founding in 1984. Our second recipient was born in Bryn Mawr, Pennsylvania, and raised in Greenwich, Connecticut. He sang in the men and boy choir of Christ Episcopal Church, later becoming the assistant organist under his teacher, Claude Means. He attended Oberlin College Conservatory of Music, where he studied organ with Garth Peacock, and the Eastman School of Music, where he earned the Master of Music and Doctor of Musical Arts degrees, studying with David Craighead. From 1969 to 71, he served in the U.S. Army as a chaplain's assistant at Fort Richardson, Alaska. He married Polly Norman in 1973 and was the Director of Music at 12 Corners Presbyterian Church, Rochester, New York, from 73 to 76. For 30 years, 1976 to 2006, he served as Director of Music at White Memorial Presbyterian Church, Raleigh, where he holds the title of Director of Music Emeritus. During that time, he was also an adjunct faculty member of the music department at Meredith College, teaching organ, harpsichord, and choral conducting. He is a past president of the Presbyterian Association of Musicians and directed the 1998 PAM Worship and Music Conferences at Montreat. He also served PAM as a member of the editorial board of Reformed Liturgy and Music. Upon retirement from White Memorial, he was presented with the Order of the Longleaf Pine, the highest award which can be granted to a civilian by the governor of North Carolina, and served as associate organist at St. Michael's Episcopal Church, Raleigh from 2006 until 2020. Please join me in congratulating Sally Gant and Brock W. Downward. We hope that Sally and Brock can be present at one of the weeks of this year's Worship and Music Conference, when a presentation will be made in person at the conference's closing concert. Any words for us, Sally or Brock?
Well, I will just say I'm totally humbled by this. You took me so much by surprise, Carl, with you when you called, and I've watched these awards for so many years at Montreat, and so many people that I consider so much more worthy than I that have received them over the years. But it's been a wonderful lifetime of service with the Presbyterian churches since I started singing in the children's choir at the age of 7, I think. So since that time, and I'm totally honored and thankful. Thank you so much.
Congratulations. And Brock?
And I don't know that you can hear me or see me.
We can hear you.
All right, you can hear me. That's good enough. I'm very honored. I can think of many people I know who I would feel were more qualified for this honor than I am, but I am very honored, and my association with PAM has been one of the great honors and thrills of my life, and I thank you all.
You are so welcome, both of you. I hope you can see in the chat all of the people that are congratulating you, and we hope to see you in June. Thank you, Carl, again for your committee's work, and thank you for your nominations. Keep them coming next year when it's time to honor the next lifetime member. Okay, last slide. Well, it's been a joy to spend this time together. You are just an incredible group of pastors and musicians and church members. Thank you for all you do to make PAM meaningful, and want to give you a charge for 2 things. Number one, if you are planning to attend the Worship and Music Conference, go ahead and register. That would be helpful to our office for planning, and the price goes up on May 1st. So get that registration in by April 30th so that you get the cheaper price. And lastly, my last charge to you is later in the day, you will see a social media post about the Worship and Music Conference. Share that on social media and tell your friends about the opportunities that await them, both at the conference and also in region events, and all of the wonderful resources that are made available to you through your PAM membership. It's been a blessing to be together. Hope to see you soon, especially in June. Go in peace.